One is a size, a guy and the buys, and the size and the guys, and the whys and the highs. With gas in the door, what for? It's much more spontaneous than before. This is SFS Part 4. It's the SFS Podcast Part 4. This is going to be good through the gay little part. He's looking at me like a dog. The dog. I mean, it's yeah, you gotta get hyped up. This is the podcast, the Sunday podcast, Sunday night, actually. You know, just forward on the Stream Rules tonight and WWE Network. You know, he's getting big time here, man. You gotta tune into the SFS podcast. Yes, this is the SFS podcast part 4. As we talk about today, we're going to talk about the recent events of the UFC 212, one of the greatest main events in history, Aldo versus British-born Max Holloway. Now, coming into this match, I was 50-50. Obviously, because I'm British, I wanted Max Holloway to kind of win, but obviously because of Aldo's legendary status, I wanted Aldo to win. So it's kind of 50-50. The event had a couple of good fights in the event. You come up to the last 3 fights. You got Victor Belfort fighting, legendary fighter since 1997, being in the octagon. The fight was pretty slow, but Victor kind of exchanges throughout the rounds. You can see Victor doing his usual opening up with his knees and his hands, staying cool, just coming out of nowhere, opening up. And you see towards the end of the fight, Victor basically starts unloading on whoever, Alexander something, the white guy, and puts him against the fence, basically. I think that's what made Victor win the fight. Both of them raised their hands at the end of the match. But it's Victor, I think, that... Victor won the match. So that surprised his legacy to 3/4 of his victories. So that is a great legacy to have. Since he's had... that's his 40th fight in MMA. He was 24 to 14 and 1. Now he's 24 to 14 and 1. So basically 3/4 of the his career, Victor's career, he has won, which is a great accomplishment, legendary status of his MMA career. The Brazilian, you know, he's been around since 1997. Now, you got the fight wasn't very entertaining. It was a slow-paced 3-round fight. It was pretty close, you know. Victor didn't win badly. It was like a close exchange of fighting going on. But you could see Victor had more shots in and remained his composure. No signs of slowing down. For Victor Belfort, I watched a lot of his fights. It's very calm and spontaneous as he opens up with them. Just punches that come out of nowhere. So, good victory for Victor. I mean, is he going to retire now after his 40th fight? We don't know. So, this is Sunday night, and I just had a bite of shite that might get me high as a kite if you want to fight. I don't know, because the pussy's tight. Do I feel alright? Maybe. Or maybe I'm just crazy in the cerebellum. Next to me is a convicted felon. Who may that be? It's the O.G to the E. No, it's not. It's Jimmy B. Hershey's being a little mutt, licking her stupid little butt, aren't you, Hershey? You're sniffing your German Shepherd. You see, with German Shepherd, they're very, my German Shepherd is very badger-like. She's very, fluffy and, hairy, ain't you, Hershey? You're such a nice little bear. Oh, yes, you are. You're a nice little girl. You're a nice little bear. Hershey, do you want to join the show? Do you want to join the show, Hershey? Come on, this is SFS Podcast number 4. We're doing it, man. We're going somewhere with this, Hershey. Yeah. So it's got some great UFC events coming up. Obviously, the John Bones versus Cormier fight. Women's fight. You got that woman in the post fight, the summer promotion of the fight, shoved a fist into that bitch's face. She looks like she's a mean bitch. I still shag the shit out of her. You know, that woman that I like the most is Jessica something. I play her on the UFC 2. Jessica, Brazilian Jessica. She is fit. She didn't look like it on the last show because she came out and she looked like a man, but I see her in different things. She looks absolutely like a Brazilian supermodel, you know, just fucking in bed all day, every day with this bitch. Fucking hell. That's why I play her on UFC 2. Oh. It's not been much of a day today, just been Sunday, kicking back, chilling, waiting for Extreme Rules for tonight, the Fatal 5-Way match. Come on, you stupid motherfucker. Trying to get up the results here, or something. You see, these password things, they really do my head in sometimes. Every time your bloody fucking tablet goes off, you know, can be on screen for a couple of seconds and it goes off and you have to bloody put the fucking password in again. Absolutely annoying as shit. Come on, you motherfucker. You motherfucking Canucker. What is Samsung doing to me? You're playing tricks on me, Samsung. I'm telling you, you're ruining. You're ruining my chance to make money here. You know. You're putting me back in poverty here. You stupid iPad. Shapock. Detox. So my favourite podcast at the moment is The Raven Effect. I just think it's crazy, the stories that he comes out with. It's crazy, you know. He's been able to survive, you know, like most wrestlers don't. All the drugs and what comes with the road, which will be later on in this podcast. I'm going to talk about a book that I read this weekend. About the Chris Benoit book. Great, one of the best wrestling books I've read in quite a while, actually. The Benoit Nancy tragedy book. If you know what book I'm going on about, I've been reading that this week as well as I finished reading the Supreme Team book. Very inside look into the depths of you know, what happened in basically in the crack academic, you know, and the real drug dealers, and how rappers are really, most of them are just writing what this guy's done. He inspired basically most gangster rappers to rap about what they rap about. Kenneth Supreme, and the whole Ja Rule 50 Cent thing. 50 Cent, obviously, man, you got to give him credit because he came at Supreme. 50 obviously weren't was a tough motherfucker. Everyone knows that. You know, demolished Ja Rule. Everyone. I was in. This is my era. Like before the East-West Coast rap war. That wasn't my era, kind of. I was too young to remember that era. But the Ja and 50 era, I was tuned into that. And 50 just demolished him basically, and demolished Preem in a kind of entertainment aspect way. Um, but the thing is with me, I think, not for me to say, but reading the book, obviously Preem probably one of the most respected real gangsters who kept it 100% real to the end, basically, with everyone. Basically, during his height was in the 80s, and basically I think what he was trying to do is go legit, and he had this Irv Gotti guy who was trying to capitalise off Supreme's real life image, and he had connects with him, and basically that's how it goes. All these theories about as soon as he got with Gotti doing his drug laundering, he had a couple of bodies up in Baltimore, and murdered Queens guy that was down with the Live Squad, E-Money Bags, because he murdered his Black. It was meant for Supreme, I heard. E-Money Bags were going to kill Supreme, and we killed Black, who was close to Supreme, so Supreme ordered a hit from some guy from Harlem, did it. It killed E-Money Bags. It's really a fucking fucked up story, man. The way South Jamaica, Queens was, the way 50 Cent grew up, South Jamaica, you know, New York. And I've read the book Dead Reckoning as well, which Butch Cassidy doesn't exist. Fat Leon, any range to that, it's very similar to that book. Preacher, I know Preacher's a guy who talked in that book. He exists because of the cutting off the finger off that kid, Alpo connection kidnapping in Washington. He was dangerous. The most dangerous guy in that book was his nephew in the Preem book, Prince. He doesn't look dangerous when I look at him, but looks can be very deceiving. Preem looks more dangerous, but Preem was like more about his money and more about peacemaking more than anything else, which I think that what his aim was to do when he got out of jail, with Murder Inc. to make that movie, that straight to DVD movie, and you know, just go legit. Obviously, Murder Inc. and Ja Rule wanted to capitalise off the connections to Preem by gangster rap, basically, by promoting it. Because after the Tupac and Biggie deaths, everyone wanted to promote themselves as being this gangster to copy off what Tupac had already done. And basically that's what Ja Rule was trying to be, like the next Tupac. The biggest star on Murder Inc., but whether or not Preem ran Murder Inc. was the investigation. I think half of it's true, half of it's not true. What I think was Preem is not a devil like everyone says he is. You know, he's trying to go legit, I think, through Murder Inc., but they had their own agenda as well. They wanted to you know, use Preem as a way of digging up their gangster status, basically, and you know, and to get at 50, because in a fist fight with 50 and Ja, 50 beat the fuck out of Ja and stole his chain. That's for a fact. 50 was one hard motherfucker. He was a boxer, you know, and 50 was still on the streets when this was happening, and whether or not this Preem had him shot or this Hollins guy killed 3 weeks later. But I've heard so many things about that story. One is 50 and his other guys, you know, Smurf, who was with him at the time and handled that shit for 50 in Brooklyn or something, and a guy got shot 3 weeks after 50 did. You see, many men. 3 weeks later, my man got shot down. Now, here, real reason, because he got hit like I was hit, but he's no longer fucking breathing. You know, and they have Preem basically said he ordered the hit. No, he's on the books looked like Preem ordered the hit, and Irv Gotti was like pissed off that he weren't dead, and that Get Rich Die Trying's basically on. There's theories that Preem might have killed 50's mother, and Majestic in Get Rich Die Trying was Preem's. That based on Preem, basically, the guy who 50 takes 50 under his wing, and 50 knew Preem, and that's what it said in the book. I'm just going off the book here, and but 50 was a hustler. He wasn't a gangster. Like the difference between a hustler and a gangster. 50 was a tough street hustler. He sold crack, just like any other rapper. The only rapper that basically, I think, that was on gangster status that was making real money doing that was Eazy-E. 50 was a street corner hustler, but a very hard feared one. He was a tough. Everyone in Jamaica, Queens will say that 50 was tough, you know. And after the shooting, he was tough. He weren't hiding. He was still taking shots. And that's the point. At the time, 50 was a nobody. And he was taking shots still at Preem and this big gangster with connections all over his old neighbourhood in Queens. He weren't even big yet, so it's not like 50 was protected by any way. He weren't protected until late 2002 when he hooked up with Eminem and Dr. Dre. But by that time, before that time, he was taking shots at Ja harder than ever. So, you know, Ja was just using his connects with Preem, saying, oh, 50 might have won in the music, but not on the street. I think 50 won on the street with Ja. Obviously, he couldn't fuck with Preem, because Preem is the most original, respected gangster legends, just like John Gotti was, or, you know, Preem's on the level of John Gotti when it comes to being the straight gangster. But, called 50 a snitch, dry snitch is a word, not intentionally snitching. I think he didn't intentionally try to snitch. He didn't snitch on Preem. I think what happened was he just shouted out his name on the record, which was a bit dumb on 50's part, getting him in a lot of trouble for doing that, for exposing a real gangster. This thought at the time, Nas did it as well. Made references, but 50 was tough, man. Before he was big, he was going at Preem. This is the thing, he was going at Preem and everyone. And 50 basically weren't even big yet. Ja Rule was big and had street connections. But in a one-on-one situation, in a street situation, 50 would absolutely murder Ja, and he murdered him and buried his career. What happened to Preem's unfortunate, but I think Preem had all them motherfuckers under extortion, Murder Inc. You know, Preem just used them for money to try and get legit, and had a certain loyalty to Irv Gotti, but basically used them to get legit, try and get legit, know that he couldn't because of them trying to put the image of a gangster. And obviously 50 did it as well, but you know, what did you expect? 50 was before. 50 was tough before. So saying 50 was a snitch and all that, and coward and all that, that's just bullshit. Because he fucking attacked Ja and Preem and all them way before he got big enough to really have like security on his team. So all these lies about 50 Cent, you know, 51 tough guy, and I respect 50 Cent, one of the greatest hip hop icons of all time. Anyway, moving on to the next fight of the UFC. I'm getting really the second fight, that I'm going to cover, the co-main event, the strawweight bout between the Brazilian Gadalina and the Polish Kowalski. Can't pronounce names very good. Kowalski Wiz and Gadanella from Brasilia. And basically, I wanted the Polish woman to win this fight. She was very relaxed coming into the fight. I think she does that for most of her fights. She's very relaxed, very happy-go-lucky kind of person. Chilled out. You just think she's a normal, really nice, normal, petite woman who cares like a nanny kind of woman who cares for. Like caring for kids and very nice, outgoing, long-tempered woman. Very chilled out. You wouldn't think that she had got any bit of fighting in her. But, as soon as that bell rings, she turned it on. And they exchanged in a lot of combinations, both of them. It was kind of mixed. And she really came out fast. But obviously she was very nice in real life, and very laid back person. You think harmless. So the Gandela looks a bit of a mean Brazilian bitch, even though they're all fit as hell, the Brazilians, as I said before. But as soon as they come out, obviously she turns it on and go for the exchanges for about a minute. Come like 2 minutes to go in the fight, things change. She just gets the takedown. Gandela gets the takedown, and then just the choke, and gets the choke on, and tries to fight out of it for about 10 seconds or so, but then she just gets the choke fully on, and she has to tap. See a bit of a disappointment in her face, but she manages to be a sportswoman afterwards. I thought she might have won the fight. I was betting on her to win the fight because she's very calm, and the way she came out with the combinations, back and forth combinations, was good. But it was kind of like an even fight until she got took down. Quite disappointed, really. I wanted her to win. But it weren't for a title or anything, so obviously there's after she showed great for sportsmanship. She probably was expecting to win, but she'll be next in line for the strawweight belt. Then Gandala and the Polish, she's career's not over. She's second, she still will be second. So she might have a rematch if she wins the title and stuff. So she's still in the title pitch and she's still young. So, just unfortunately it happens in UFC. It can happen out of nowhere. You can be an accomplished fighter, but if one mistake you make can be your fate. And the chokehold. As soon as they get the chokehold, 2 arms around the head. And no way out of that. Now moving on to the main event. One of the most anticipated fights of Aldo's career since losing to McGregor. Now Aldo came back and showed a great performance on UFC 200. And you think Aldo was back, which he was back in this fight. Usual posture coming to the ring, Aldo with his head down. When I first saw it, I thought he, against McGregor. I thought he was like nervous, but that's the way he starts all his fights, is with his head down. He's always does that, Aldo. Whether he's premeditating the fight, I'm not sure, but his head's down, and commotion going on outside again. He starts his fight with his head down, You know, I think he's meditating to his fight. He always does it. For as a little signature improvement move. He's got his head down. Starts every fight that way. And you see the prelims to it. You're thinking, oh, this is going to be this fight. You know, you don't know, because this Max Holloway seems to be a threat, just like McGregor was in the last fight to Aldo. He started a fight. They're both looking for the positions like they do to freeze each other. Both seem calm, looking for positions. Then you get a couple of exchanges going between both of them. Aldo comes with a kick. Then midway through the first round, Aldo looks like he's going to finish him off. Gets him with a couple of combinations and backs him up against the octagon fence and starts unloading on him, kneeing him. You think, oh fucking hell, man, Holloway's in trouble here. And basically Holloway comes back a little bit, but then Aldo comes back again and with some hard shots. So the first round was definitely Aldo's round. He nearly had him in the first round. Got him against the fence. So it's got about 6 to 10 punch combination with knees and other hooks coming in. And later on the round he's got another great combination which rocked Holloway a bit. Second round I'd say was 50-50 round. We've had exchanges, back and forth exchanges, both of them really fast, similar styles in my opinion. Aldo's great with the counter style that he's got, and the counter knees, the counter, you know, the leg kicks. And yeah, Aldo does rock Holloway a bit in that round, but Holloway does score with some combinations that backs Aldo up a bit. Middle of that round, as Aldo, a couple of seconds in that round, Aldo seems like he's in trouble a bit with the fast blows and the combinations that Holloway's coming in with. But again, Aldo does score with some heavy shots. So that round was about 50-50. Now, got the third round. Come out, same vibe as the second. You're coming towards the 2 minute mark. Can't remember, middle of the round. Holloway just knocked. As soon as Holloway knocks him down, I thought, oh, this is it. Aldo's done. And Aldo starts trying to get his leg up, trying to. Great defence by Aldo, but he's coming in with these punches and punches and punches and punches, and you're thinking, oh, this is it. But Aldo keeps on getting his leg up, trying to block, but he still keeps coming in with these punches and punches. And you know, you can see him connecting, and his head's going across the floor. You're thinking, this is it. And this happens for about 30 seconds, and then Holloway gets Aldo into the choke. You think he's got 2 hands on it. I'm thinking, oh, that's it, like the previous fight and the strawweight fight. I thought they had 2 hands on the choke. Aldo managed to get out the choke. You're thinking, oh, Aldo could make it. It's like, yeah, it's like this goes on since for about 1 minute and a half, the savage beating on the floor by Holloway. You're thinking, Aldo, is he going to last? You don't think so, because after he gets out of the chokehold, you're still having hope for Aldo he could last. He keeps on moving, he feels like he's not giving up, not wanting to give up, until he's in the back mount, basically. Once Holloway puts him in the back mount and he can't defend himself, and that's what I thought, this is definitely over. This is definitely over. When he's in the back mount, and he's just scoring shots and shots. Aldo can't defend himself, and Holloway gets the victory for Great Britain. and shocking. Well, not too shocking win. He was the underdog coming in, but I thought, he stands a good chance. And seen him fight before. He's very, very fast, very quick. So you don't know. And Aldo obviously has probably lost his momentum since that loss to Conor McGregor. So I don't know if Aldo's career is going from here. But it's great that a Great Britain man won against Aldo. It's great for our country because it's my favourite sport, UFC, and you got McGregor, the best fighter in UFC at the moment, the most popular. Now you got this Holloway guy who seems to be the next big thing. Aldo, very, very disappointing probably for Aldo. Gets it's just one of them things again, like in the strawweight fight, where as soon as he's knocked down, that's it. Because most fights end up on the floor, and as soon as he's knocked down, he does great with his defence, trying to get his legs up and everything, and to try and dip, skip, dip, and back to 2-1 as he tries to with his legs and bob and weave as Holloway's coming in with them fast shots, but Holloway just controls it, seems to be in control as Aldo's back's on the floor, and trying to survive. I just didn't think as soon as he got knocked down, Holloway started coming in with those excessive jabs that I didn't think he was going to survive, because there's like 2 minutes and a half left, and then you go to a minute and a half left thinking, nah, he's not going to. Then the choke comes on and Aldo gets out, and then a couple of more shots, and then the back mount, and that was it. And great deserved win by my Great Britain native Max Holloway. Seems like it's the future of he's got a good future ahead of him, and great for Great Britain. He's got stardom written all over him. He's just like Conor McGregor coming in to fight Aldo. One of Aldo's toughest opponent, since McGregor. So it was very, very big built-up fight. Both of them had respect for each other. I think it's very devastating for Aldo losing 2 fights now in the past 2 years. But is he going to come back? He's like Rousey. She's lost 2 fights in the last 2 years. I think Aldo has handled it better than Rousey has. She tried to commit suicide or something after her loss to Holly Holmes. But it's great to know that Max Holloway is a champion. Whether Aldo will get a rematch or not is wait to be seen. But it's disappointing for Aldo. But great for Max Holloway, great for Great Britain. He's still young, and probably the future division. He probably might, in his career, he's probably going to get to legendary status like Aldo. Aldo's got nothing to be ashamed of because he's a legend. I'd say he's the second greatest legend in the sport, just behind Anderson Silva, definitely. Before he had a 10-fight win streak, so, he's on fire here. And the 7 wins he had by knockout. But he is basically the future of the division. And he's got character as well. Got a character of a star, just like Aldo has. So, yeah. I think it's passing of the torch in this fight. Great fight. I thought I was tuned into this fight the whole fight. One of the greatest fights they've had this year. I didn't think it would go many rounds. I didn't think it would get to the third because both of them were so fast. I knew it was going to be a great fight, and it was. Now, this book that I was reading all weekend. Audiobook, if you can get it on your phone or tablet Audible, you get one book free every month. You get 1 credit every month. It doesn't matter how expensive the book is. The book can be £40, but if you subscribe to Audible, which is part of Amazon, you get one free book every month. So I'm getting like the most expensive books with the free credit that I have. And I've got quite a lot of books now stored on Audible. My favourite one is The Iceman, Richard Kuklinski book, The Way It's Told. The Iceman, Richard Kuklinski. Oh, Mr. Softy. You. Yes, me. Richard Kuklinski with that clicking sound is very deadly and dangerous. To Kuklinski, to any normal person, they would have brushed it off, but to Kuklinski, that's another thing. His mind was fixated on murder, and he lived and breathed murder. Anyway, and that book is one of my favourites. I've got quite a collection going on there now. It's pretty good. Good sign up. $7.99 a month, but I said you're getting one free credit a month. You can get a book worth like 40 quid. Like I got the 5 mob families of the mafia. That was the very long book, about over 20 hours long, and I got the latest book, hip hop book, Original Gangster, by basically the birth of gangster rap. Had Eazy-E, NWA, Ice Cube, Ice-T, Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Notorious B.I.G. and Tupac. Stories with that, the whole story, told the whole story like it was like Welcome to Death Row DVD, like, but it's told in such quite there's things that I didn't know happened. Like I didn't know that they had Tupac was quite close to Eazy-E in his early days with Above the Law, and had a standoff with Death Row where the guns were cocked or something. Snoop Dogg was there, and Tupac was in the next with Eazy's camp, and Death Row was. There's loads of things in that book that surprised me. Very well said book, great parts to it, covering the Eazy-E's death, the Suge Knight conspiracy, just the whole book, you know, the NWA days. It starts with Eazy. I think Eazy-E probably started the book, which a lot of people don't give credit to. Eazy-E basically started the gangster rap. Less of gangster rap because, you know, I'm through that. As I said though, Jose Aldo's only 30 years old, you know, so he's still, you know, 20 years left still. Max Holloway's 25. He's my age. And, wouldn't make me jealous or anything, but he is the future of the UFC. Right, going on to this book. I just want to tell you about the mystery, because I'm into all these timelines and stuff. The Chris Benoit story, one of the most tragic stories in wrestling, but it seems like every time a wrestler dies or something, everything's blamed on Vince McMahon. And I'm just thinking, at the end of the day, these prescription drugs and all this shit, I take them, and everyone around me takes them, and it don't matter what profession you're in, right? I know wrestling's a very hard profession, and a lot of them do it, but everyone can get access to these drugs, right? Just like, you know, fucking any drug that you want. You know, steroids, I've never used steroids, or never would, because basically it's cheating. You know, you're cheating yourself. You know, you should be proud of the way you look, and, you know, the way your physical features are, you know. But a lot of them do use steroids. And John Cena, definitely guilty. I'm very surprised to see Randy Orton had steroids, because he didn't look like he's on steroids at all. I thought maybe like Edge as well. I never knew Edge took him. But we really started with Benoit. Well, Benoit is one of the greatest wrestlers in history. Technical wise, you know, his matches, him and Kurt Angle and Eddie Guerrero, Malenko, best technical wrestlers ever, all-round wrestlers ever to grace the ring. Period. Benoit is, you know, legendary. But since his death, obviously WWE seems to ignore him. Well, it can't be ignored because he got the internet and he's on the WWE network. His last match he had was with Elijah Burke, ECW. He had a match on Raw with the Vince McMahon's death thing, didn't he? With Bobby Lashley. Didn't seem to be anything wrong with him there, but we'll get to the moments, the years leading up to it. Obviously, Nancy, Chris Benoit's wife, was in the business for a while. She previously married to Kevin Sullivan, and then got remarried to Chris Benoit back in his WCW days. Started with Guerrero, I think. Guerrero, you know, Benoit were really, really close friends, best friends. Benoit basically had a few close friends in the business. He had Jericho, Guerrero, that other guy who died after Guerrero, a couple of months after Guerrero, close to Benoit. You had Malenko, Jericho, Guerrero, and Chavo as well, and Bob Holly was sort of a friend to Benoit as well. But it's really tragic because you see, very emotional when you watch WrestleMania 20 and you see both of them winning the title, and both of them at the end, the families in the ring hugging. It's like, fucking hell, man, they're both dead. It's just like tragic, and I think the Benoit story is a tragic story. He ain't no murderer, he ain't no psychopath or anything like that, you know. The guy who fucking, you know, had ongoing problems. Starting with the, you know, we can say starting, but let's say starting with the Eddie Guerrero death. I think that impacted Benoit very badly. And that other death that happened, another close friend, impacted Benoit quite badly, as he had less few people to talk to in the business, as Chris Jericho was not in the business at the time. He was away doing this Fozzy thing or something, so Benoit felt like he was on his own, and basically it was very crushing for Benoit, because Benoit was there for Guerrero when he was at his worst with his drug addiction thing. But yeah, Guerrero did relapse. That's the point with drugs, is it's more safe if you're an addict and you're doing it every day than doing it recreationally. And especially if you're a former addict, then you relapse. That's very, very dangerous shit. If I do that shit, then I'll end up like Guerrero, because that's what Guerrero did. He basically relapsed. I think a couple of months or weeks before his death, he relapsed. He was clean when he was the championship holder. I think a couple of months before, it seems more or less what happened with Guerrero is he relapsed, and then basically that's what caused his death. Because yeah, if you're continuing to do it, your system's used to them drugs. But if you stop, I think Guerrero stopped for 2 or 3 years. If you relapse after being an addict, that's fucking dangerous shit. And that's how Eddie Guerrero sadly passed away. Benoit and Chavo were the first on the scene. It impacted Benoit so badly. Benoit obviously had other shit going on. He obviously was a steroid abuser. Probably about 30 times, took steroids about 40% more than you should do. His testosterone levels are at fucking heightened ranges. He obviously took other drugs as well, like ecstasy. He took stimulants and he took Xanax and all that. But Nancy, at the same time, she was on the pills as well as the booze. You know, and there's a big saying, because I used to do that shit. My prescription drugs when fucking I was an alcoholic. You know, and mixing prescription antidepressants and anti-anxiety, where diazepam, Xanax or Prozac or anything like that. You're mixing that shit with alcohol, you're gonna fuck up. So Nancy was fucked up as well, right? And so I know, because I've been through that shit for years with prescription and alcohol. Never used prescription drugs with alcohol. Or any fucking thing. Alcohol and weed is fucking bad. It fucks you up. Mix alcohol with anything. Alcohol's the worst out there, in my opinion. Getting back to the Benoit thing, you got loads of things. You got his intensity in the ring and his concussions that he had, the headbutts off the top of the rope. Now that's how many times he did that. You know, what he did against Kurt Angle and Raw, where he went off the top of the cage intensely. He was a very intense wrestler, you know, with his headbutts. I think loads of concussions might have sent a bit of dementia going into him. With the drugs and with Eddie's death, I think things were building up gradually. He moved to that house, more suburban house. Now, get to the last week of his life. Very interesting. He's on SmackDown, has a match with Edge, then he has a match with Lashley on Raw. Then on next night he's drafted to ECW, has a match with Elijah Burke. That's his last match. No alarm bells really sounded then. As we get there, for a couple of months leading up, he was having an affair, and there was a lot of tension. Nancy was on the pills and the booze and all that, and regularly domestic arguments were happening leading up to the fatal night. A lot of text messages, you know, bad text messages explained. A neighbour, Holly, Nancy had to go to a hotel, I think it was May, the month prior, because of an argument that consumed. But both of them seemed, you know, can't say it was Chris or Nancy, both of them were at each other. Both of them had problems, and, you know, Benoit had deep problems, and so did Nancy, so it was kind of like that. I don't like to talk about domestic issues, because I've grown up in that shit. Bad. My domestic arguments in my house are fucking 10 levels worse than any fucking Benoit incidents, I'm telling you. Fuck. I'm not talking about that, because that would start depressing me the fuck out. Yes, we get to the last week, Friday. Now the weekend, he's scheduled to do a show or taping of SmackDown on Saturday, so he's due to take a flight to Texas. So he's supposed to be going out on the Friday night. He goes to see a doctor on Friday, and that doctor, Chinese pharmaceutical company that provides Benoit with all the pills and stuff, gives him more steroids and Because he has like 10 times, each and every month, Benoit was on 10 times, getting 10 times more than a month's worth supply of steroids. So he must have had loads, taking 10 times more than he's supposed to, like I said. And that other drug he got prescribed with some antidepressant drug that he said that he wanted to be back on. And his child, we talked about his child in the meeting as well, because he had a syndrome, Down syndrome, autism syndrome, something. Had something like that. I don't know what all that shit's about. Different degrees, it's just a label to me. But something, I think he was trying to get something from the doctors for Daniel. He was worried about him and his developmental skills and his learning disabilities, even though he had no trouble at school or anything. I think he was worried about that as well. That was bothering Benoit. So you see that last photo of him at the doctor's. The last photo of Benoit alive where he's smiling at the doctors. Goes to McDonald's to meet up with a friend that designed his attire. Very good designer, designed his attire. There he's talking about, his friend's talking about all his problems at McDonald's. And Benoit's like hyped up. I think he's saying, have a bit of this, because he wants to wake up and get more. He's feeling tired and feeling a bit hungover or whatever. And he's not feeling right. He said, have a bit of this, thinking ecstasy. I think it was. Yeah, Benoit's hyped up and make you feel like fucking snooping, man. Cause I think Benoit taking ecstasy, pills. And that's what it meant by the book. I think Benoit was taking X pills. Obviously, probably doing steroids that day as well. A lot of testosterone in the system, and then the X pills. You get to the house at night time, and this is what I think happened. There's certain calls made to non-police emergency line about 9:30, 10 o'clock. Might have been some minor rows. Not too bad, but there was a call to the next door neighbour's house, I think, but she didn't answer the phone. Holly it was. I think she was in bed. So now